Moving forward in More Than 100 Truths You Need to Know About Wealth by Faith A. Praiz, the bestseller edition. We're on page 16. Chapter 1, Why the Book? Number 1, to open one's eyes to see the reality. The correct knowledge of wealth, when properly engaged, reveals deficiencies in a person's understanding and interaction with life. The points help to reveal a person's state and then give them a track to follow forward. Money is a form of wealth, but it is definitely not all that wealth entails. Wealth is much broader and more multidimensional. Here's a simplified breakdown of what wealth can include beyond just money. Spiritual wealth, a form of abundance that transcends material possessions. It is rooted in personal growth, inner peace, and a deep connection to something greater than oneself, often expressed through faith, purpose, values, or a sense of higher meaning. Spiritual wealth is measured in terms of fulfillment, clarity, and resilience in the face of life's challenges. At its core, spiritual wealth is about living a life aligned with one's principles and inner truth. It involves cultivating virtues such as compassion, gratitude, humility, forgiveness, and contentment. So those are like the values that I spoke on earlier in the book that are part of being wealthy. People who are spiritually wealthy often exude a sense of calm and confidence that is not tied to external circumstances. They can maintain joy and perspective regardless of their social or economic status. Spiritual wealth is enduring and meaningful. It helps people develop deeper relationships with God and others, make more ethical decisions, and find purpose even in adversity. For some, it comes through religious devotion. For others, through mindfulness and service to others. Intellectual wealth, knowledge, skills, education. Now, I want to clarify there, when it says education, we're not just talking about academic education. There are so many different types of education that you don't only receive in a school setting, but you get that kind of education through your own searching. So I'm talking about financial education, social education, emotional education, all those, so many different kinds of education. Education concerning your environment, personal education, which entails who you are. That's what intellectual wealth is comprised of. Different kinds of education, not just the academic kind. So when we say knowledge as well, that's what we're speaking on, not just academic. Creativity and problem-solving ability, innovation and intellectual property, patents, trademarks, etc. This kind of wealth can generate financial returns or social value over time. Social wealth, relationships, networks, and social capital, reputation, trust, and goodwill, influence and access to the opportunities via people. Often underestimated but crucial, many opportunities come through who you know, not what you know. Human capital, personal wealth, health, energy, time, emotional resilience, mental clarity, and discipline. You cannot enjoy other forms of wealth without this one. Your time and well-being are immensely valuable. Environmental wealth, clean air, water, etc. The variety and variability of life on Earth. It encompasses all living organisms, including plants, animals, fungi, and microorganisms, natural resources. Communities and nations depend on this, and it is becoming more recognized as a form of national or global wealth. Physical wealth, tangible assets like land, houses, cars, tools, art, jewelry, infrastructure, or productive resources like machinery, factories, etc. Physical wealth contributes to comfort, utility, and production capacity. Cultural wealth, heritage, traditions, language, art, shared values, and identity. Cultural richness shapes how people live and perceive the world. Financial wealth, cash and savings, investments, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, real estate and property, business ownership. This is the most obvious type and what people usually mean when they talk about being rich. These are some of the realities. The pursuit of currency alone will not allow you to enjoy the best God has for you. The knowledge and belief in what God has blessed us with is the key to unlocking what God has deposited in a man. Wealth is more than having only currency. So I believe that all that I just read right now has opened your eyes to see the reality that wealth is more than currency. There is social wealth, there's intellectual wealth, there's environmental wealth, there's wealth in the culture that you have. There's so many different kinds of wealth. Of course, not all the kinds are listed there, but those are a few that you can take some time to study and understand in order to utilize them well. Number 2, for why the book. To change the mentality of people towards true wealth and away from poverty. True wealth comes from God and your relationship with God, as we have seen in the earlier points. This implies that apart from our relationship with God, there are subjects and courses we need to understand about wealth, which will not separate us from the love of God. This automatically shifts our focus from being satisfied with poverty and looking only for currency throughout our lives. And yes, it is possible for someone to be satisfied with poverty, and that is because of ignorance. You don't realize that you're just satisfied with, being at that, what you would deem your normal state of life, the inactivity, the just going day by day, working and working, getting paid for it, all those kind of things. You're just satisfied in not being productive, which in other words is being satisfied with poverty. And when you're just desiring to get the next paycheck in order to meet your daily needs, or just for the sake of going on vacation or relaxing or whatever, all of that is being satisfied with poverty. So as it says, the book is aimed to push you towards true wealth and away from that satisfaction with being poor or content with the 9-to-5 salary golden handcuff mentality. Number 3, to expose the difference between money, riches, wealth, and currency. Riches. Riches refer to an abundance of material possessions, especially valuable things like money, jewelry, or luxury goods. 1 Timothy 6, verses 9-10, New International Version. Those who want to get rich fall into temptation and a trap and into many foolish and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. Some people eager for money have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. And I want to point out here something that was mentioned in our Journey to Wealth workshop, which if you don't know about that, I'll put some information concerning that in the description. But the Journey to Wealth workshop, we're basically just trying to break away all those cobwebs of the mentalities that have unconsciously been formed over time. And one of those being that having money is evil. Some people think that if you have a lot of money or just having money, whatever the case may be, that it's evil. And that's a mindset. But the scripture specifically tells us that it's the love of money that is the root of all kinds of evil. Everybody needs to eat. We need to wear clothes. We need things for our homes. We need things for our children. And those things cost money. So we can't say that money is evil. So then how will we survive? How will we engage in this world if we didn't have money in that regard, if we didn't have cash? So again, the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Money itself is not evil. And that's an unconscious belief that some people have. Proverbs 23 verse 5, New International Version. Cast but a glance. Proverbs 23 verse 5, New International Version. Cast but a glance at riches, and they are gone, for they will surely sprout wings and fly off to the sky like an eagle. Wealth is a complex state composed of many ingredients. A few are faith in God, strategic relationships, ideas, knowledge and skills, value creation, money, material possessions, experiences of life, health, good name, and gifts and talents. It's pretty much almost impossible to define wealth in a dictionary definition kind of way. So that's why it's mentioned here that it is like wealth is like we're making a soup or something. And so we have all these ingredients that we're adding into it. Through the ingredients, we're defining what wealth is comprised of or what wealth is without the explicit dictionary type of definition. But that's basically it. Faith in God, strategic relationships, ideas, and so on. Money or currency. The meaning of currency. Money. Money is a medium of exchange that is widely accepted in transactions. Money is a reward for solving problems. Currency is a form of money, specifically the physical or digital representation of money issued by a government. And I want to stop here for a moment because this really blasted my mind when we were having our Journey to Wealth business class, which is like a step higher from the Journey to Wealth workshop, where we're being more practical and applying it to our businesses and all these things. Now, currency is a form of money means that currency is not money. Cash is not money. It's just a representation of what true money is. And as I said earlier, money is a medium of exchange. It's a reward for solving problems, which means that money can pretty much be almost anything outside of that cash realm. If we think about the ingredients of wealth, that is money. You can exchange your strategic relationships, your faith in God, your material possessions, your gifts and your talents. These things can be exchanged. They're seen as value, and some people, as a result of the value they see in your gift and your talents, they give you something that represents what they believe it's worth, which is what we call your paycheck or your compensation for doing a job. It's just a representation of the value that you were able to offer at whatever it is that you did. So I think that was mind-blowing for me, the fact that currency is a representation of money. It is not true money. And as I read further, you'll understand why currency is a form of money and not actually money. A little history lesson here. Let us understand the evolution of money. Hunter-gatherer era, prehistoric times. In early human societies, the concept of money did not exist. People relied on barter, directly exchanging goods and services. For example, one might trade meat for tools or crops for shelter. However, bartering had limitations, such as the difficulty in determining equivalent value or finding a matching need between individuals. I also want to add here as well that in this era, energy and skill might have also been used as a means to get what you need. You have to hunt animals, kill them, cook them. You have to have energy in order to chase them and that kind of thing, in order to cook them and then do whatever you need to do. So energy was something that was exchanged in order to get what you want, in addition to the trade by barter. Agricultural Revolution, circa 10,000 BCE. As humans transitioned from a nomadic hunter-gatherer lifestyle to settled agricultural communities, surpluses in food and goods allowed for more organized trade. This led to the need for a more standardized medium of exchange, Commodity money emerged with items like grains, livestock, or shells used as currency in some regions. These goods had intrinsic value as they were essential for survival or highly desirable. Industrial Revolution, 18th to 19th centuries. The rise of factories, mass production, and global trade during the Industrial Revolution increased the complexity of economies. Physical forms of currency such as metal coins, gold, silver, were used to facilitate transactions in an increasingly interconnected world. By the 19th century, banks began issuing paper notes backed by precious metals, primarily gold. This shift marked a major change, as it allowed for larger transactions to be conducted without the need to carry heavy coins. Gold-backed currency, 19th to 20th century. In the 19th century, many countries adopted the gold standard, where their paper currency could be exchanged for a fixed amount of gold. This system provided stability and trust as the currency was backed by a tangible asset. Gold became the global benchmark, and countries began accumulating gold reserves to maintain their currency's value. Fiat money, 20th century to present. In the 20th century, especially after World War II, the gold standard began to collapse, primarily due to the global need for more flexible monetary policies. In 1971, the United States fully abandoned the gold standard, and many other countries followed suit. The global financial system shifted to fiat money, where currency derives its value not from physical commodity like gold, but from the trust and authority of the governments that issues it. The value of money is thus supported by the economy, legal systems, and government institutions. The value of money is thus supported by the economy, legal systems, and government institutions, which gives it legitimacy. So in other words, money is basically, or rather currency in that case, is pretty much an illusion. It's not real. We just believe that $1 is worth $1, and so on and so forth. That concludes the section of why the book for the first to the third point. In the next video, we will be looking at the fourth reason why this book is written, which is to know the source of true wealth. Again, please check out the podcast, Journey to Wealth with Tammy, where we spend some time looking deeper into all these things that I'm reading, and I explain it, or rather speak about it, with the author himself, Faith A. Praiz.